California's the bluest state in America, but Democrats just belly flopped their big blue wave. 24 hours later, the governor's race is still too close to call. But Newsom's worst nightmare is running up the scoreboard. Hilton up 3 on Becerra with 60% in. Up 8 on billionaire Steyer. And he's balling out in the deepest blue precincts.
There you go, Kevin. You see the blue right there? Yep. Well, the deep blue area, Steve Hilton with 51% of the vote in is at 22.6. But holy cow, Kevin, those to me is very telling about this election.
Yeah. It's not just the white wine suburbs. The fiesta's over for Democrats. Latinos just picked a side. Hispanic counties are breaking +8 for Hilton. Look at that. In a state that's almost half Hispanic. Comprende? Potatoes took a quick peek at the polls, then peaced out.
Hi, it's Katie Porter. Tonight is election night. We know tonight that we will not advance to the general election in November. And so I just want to say so grateful to all of my staff in this race and in past races. Thank you for what you do.
We're just glad she can go back to fighting crime now. In L.A., incumbent Karen Bass wiggled across the finish line. Her reward, likely a runoff against Pratt, who's got a stranglehold on second. His first order of business? Show the press the door.
You can see that there's a setup, but where the press originally was and where we're being told to clear out of is a place where his supporters are going to gather, but they are asking us to completely leave this event.
So who's really behind him? Not the monsters the media sold you.
Right now, the media likes to say, oh, he's this. I'm not that. I'm an Angelino who said enough is enough, and I had to step up. I didn't know I'd be here tonight, but it's obviously God's plan, and I'm going to go all the way, and I'm going to show everybody that I'm their mayor.
Pratt speaks for L.A., and L.A. spoke right back to NBC.
He doesn't want human feces to be a part of your life. Yeah. He doesn't want homeless children outside.
Totally.
Homeless
Thank
people
you.
Outside. Oh, you didn't like that. She ran away. He doesn't want homeless people outside of the elementary schools having sex. Can I get a shout out real quick? With their own hands in front of the children.
We appreciate you. We've talked a lot about the homelessness. Thank you. All right.
I don't appreciate you, ma'am.
This election was about the quality of life, and this should never be an issue in California. All politicians need to do there is protect paradise. Keep out the bums, the needles, the fire, and the crime. And if you can't do that, you don't love L.A. Pratt does. And his surge is too big to spin. So they're praying the mailbox beats the ballot box.
If we largely have half the vote to come, and it's going to be vote by mail, and you've already given me now, they've had 3 subsequent vote by mail updates. They're not huge, but they're not nothing. The pattern in them is Bass first, Rahman second, Pratt distant third.
It's almost like they're preparing us for a late-night ballot dump. I hope that's not true because I still have PTSD from 2020. Now, this is a state where 18,000 people still scribbled in sleazy Swalwell, so who knows? Pratt's not breaking a sweat. He's fulfilling his destiny.
Well, obviously God wanted 5 more months of me exposing all the failures of our mayor, so it's going to be a fun ride. I hope she's ready.
Are you ready?
I mean, I was born for this, clearly.
The numbers agree. Anywhere else in America, Bass would have been licked clean off the bone.
A majority of Los Angelinos are saying they want to fire Karen Bass. And if this were any other city outside of California where you'd had normal primaries, Karen Bass with those numbers would be toast.
Toast? Spencer knows the feeling. Karen torched his house. So Pratt penciled her in for Fire Fridays.
We can do debates every Friday if she would like, because it's actually became my most favorite thing to do.
Someone didn't get the invite. Top Ramen saw her spot at the bottom and turned into little chicken soup.
Kanan Kaveri, I hope you know that everything every person in this room is fighting for in this campaign has been about building a city that's worthy of you and every child in this city.
Save the tears. Half the city didn't even show. Primary turnout tanked, which is crazy since LA's such a mess. But Pratt's not faulting the no-shows. He's blaming a town that got browbeaten into accepting less.
We don't have a city that votes and cares enough about our city. Everybody's given up because they've just accepted failure, nothing changes. Things can change if you vote. So to the people who didn't vote for me, thank you for voting and caring about your city. I hope to switch you and show you you're going to be voting for me in November.
Speaking of failure, Democrats didn't just accept it, they nominated it. In Maine, they think a Nepo nipple Nazi is their golden goose to bag Susan Collins and win back the Senate. The woman the polls have lowballed every single time. But it's not just the Nazi tat or the sexting saga. He's also a stripper. In order to get ahead of the Nazi tat story, he released that footage himself, dancing in his underwear at his brother's wedding. Nipple was in D.C. yesterday, meeting with Democrats. He reportedly assured them that nothing else was coming out. When they asked him if anyone was going to accuse him of sexual assault, you know what he said? No one would credibly accuse me. Credibly. Doing a lot of work there. He didn't have much to say to reporters.
You deserve to represent Maine. You have no shame.
And this just in. Word on the street, the Plattner campaign's bracing for another scandal. It's reportedly much worse than the sexting and the tattoo. Campaign headquarters is at DEFCON 1, damage control. But as it stands today, Democrats are standing by their Nazi.
I must say that Graham Plattner is dedicated to the prospect of defending our Constitution. To have a man who's willing to stand up to this administration is the type of voice we need in the U.S. Senate.
So Democrats back the commie sexter, but say Republicans, they're the problem.
When will you stop DHS from using its social media accounts to spread bigoted and racist words?
It's interesting how you make those claims and give no facts, but yet your party's the one that's supporting the guy that's got a Nazi tattoo.
I have the facts. I have the facts, sir.
No, there is no facts. You throw out nationalism, Nazism, and that's exactly what causes the hatred and the violence that happens to our officers every single day.
But even big boy Fetterman's like, sit down, Shri.
What kind of a creeper has been on a decade on a platform like Kick and send a dozen explicit kinds of messages and who knows what else? If someone had a clear Nazi tattoo on them, you probably could conclude that there's a Nazi sympathizer. How, at some point, are you going to continue to defend that or dismiss that?
POTUS sized up the fake oyster shucker in about 10 seconds flat.
He's a major sleazebag. I mean, you look at him.
Yeah.
Can't imagine that and yet he's up in the polls against Susan Collins. But she's always down in the polls, and she survives. But
they have James Tallarico in Texas. They have
I think
Tim
he's one of the
Walz.
worst. Actually, I think Tallarico is worse with the 6 genders, with the mask a couple of months ago. He's wearing a mask. Vegan in Texas doesn't work.
Tallarico's on defense. Everybody thinks he's a vegan with a made-up girlfriend. And now he's got a beard. And we're not talking about the girlfriend. His campaign put out a shot of him in a cowboy hat, driving a pickup truck with some stubble. The Atlantic's telling him to talk sports in order to connect with men. If he was smart, he'd be at the Spurs-Knicks game tonight in San Antonio, shoving a big fat chili dog down his throat. It's anybody's ball game, just like the midterms, but only one team showed up with a game plan.
You don't want to listen. No, because the hope is the other side, the other team is going to screw up. Who goes into a game that way? It's not hoping the other side, losers. I have never seen a time where the Democratic Party is so bereft of an agenda, a philosophy, a message that speaks to people.
No message? Oh, they have a message, but this is a family-friendly show.
Is this a PG or R?
R.
R. They're running on Trump. I mean, quite literally in the commercial. That's the kind of thing that I refuse to engage in.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.